Alright, I'm making this video because I'm just tired of people asking where the hell my updates are. I'm tired of people asking if I'm still on testosterone, or why my transition is going so slow, or why haven't I updated anymore. Clearly, I'm just some trans trender with no dysphoria because I haven't updated anything, and because I don't have the changes that everyone else has had, and I'm just fucking tired of all the messages. So I'm just gonna make this video here, and here you go. This is why. If anybody else comments, why does your voice not sound like it's changed a lot? Why has it taken so long for these changes for you? You must be on a super low dose. You don't really have dysphoria. Any of that bullshit, I'm literally just gonna direct them to this video. I have been on testosterone since June 16th, 2017. Mind you, that has not been linear. I have been off of testosterone because of medical reasons, because of insurance reasons, and it has been a long journey. When we started out, okay, here's the thing. I don't like talking about dose numbers because there is a legitimate issue with trans people, and I completely understand why this happens, with trans people getting black market testosterone that is unsafe, that is dangerous, and that they don't get their blood work done for. And they go, what's your dosage? What's your dosage? And they find out from other trans people what their dosage is, think that's fine for them, take it, and then there's so many just horror stories about this. So I don't talk about my dose level, but I will say I was started on what's considered kind of the standard starting dose for most people, which is usually on the low side, and then they up you as they go. They did my blood work. They're like, everything's good. You're good to start. Here you go. Start your testosterone at this dose. And I was like, okay, awesome. Like, I'm so excited. I'm ready to see the changes. And I wasn't really seeing the changes. And so they're like, okay, well, we'll do your blood work again. And it's like 2 months in, and they're like, we'll do your blood work again. And they did my blood work. I did it in the middle of my sub-Q cycle, like I'm supposed to do. And my levels were just through the roof, like, because they did decide to raise it by a little bit, to kind of like the midpoint between where most trans guys are at and where I was at. And when they did the blood work after that, it was just through the roof. My levels were way too high, and my doctor was like, absolutely not. We're going back down to the lower level. We need to figure out what's going on, why your levels are this high. We're gonna see the changes, right? I'm like, okay. So I go back down to the lower level. I'm really upset about it, but I do it. And then my doctor moves to another facility. And I was like, well, I'll just follow you to this facility. Like, no big deal. And I try to make an appointment with her new facility, which I was seeing Dr. George at Christiana Healthcare. And she was absolutely incredible, but she moved to a new facility that only takes people on Medicaid and uninsured people. And I am fortunate enough to be insured, which is like incredible, but because of that, I lost my doctor, which again, like, I'm fortunate enough to be insured, and I understand why there are clinics out there that only take uninsured people. So thing is, I didn't find this out until literally 2 days before I needed my next dose, because I called when she first moved over in January of 2018. I called the office and I was like, hey, I know Dr. George just started working for you. I want to schedule an appointment with her. I'm a previous patient from Christiana Care. And they were like, well, we only take appointments week of. Nobody had told me we only take Medicare and uninsured people. And I was like, okay, by this point, I still had like 4 months before I had to come in. So I could have scheduled with another endocrinologist, but I didn't know that I needed to. So I call back week of that I need to get my testosterone refilled, and they're like, oh, on Wednesdays, because my only day free that week was like a Wednesday or something, and they were like, well, on Wednesdays, we only take day of appointments, so you have to call day of. So I'm like, okay, I've got the day off work, I've got the day off school, like, I call day of, and they're like, oh, we only take Medicare people and uninsured people. And I'm like, why did nobody tell me this in January? Like, it was like 3 or 4 months beforehand, and nobody had told me. So I had like a full panic, and I was able to schedule with Planned Parenthood for a few weeks later, but their first appointments take a while. And I scheduled with Planned Parenthood. I got in. I got back on testosterone. So I was off of testosterone for a little bit, but I got back on. And then every single, I hate Aetna. I hate Aetna with a burning passion. Just so you know, back when I had Blue Cross, I had literally no issues ever getting my testosterone. Like, never once did I have an issue getting my testosterone. But when my insurance got switched to Aetna, I've never been able to get it easily, because Aetna requires you to do, at least the plan that we have, requires you to do mail order only. Testosterone, anytime you change your level, cannot be mail ordered. Anytime you change doctors, cannot be mail ordered. You have to be like on a consistent level for a while. And the plan that I was under, I'm also not allowed to go to any pharmacy and like in person unless it is like an as needed medication. Like if I got into an accident and I needed painkillers or something like that, or like I was sick and I needed some antibiotics, I could go get those at the pharmacy. But like my antidepressants, my anti-anxiety medication, my testosterone, anything like that, that's a daily medication or a weekly medication, anything like that, has to be done through mail order. Aetna kept losing because the prescription couldn't be done online because it's testosterone. And so it had to be faxed into Aetna. And every single time, Aetna lost the prescription. Every single time. So I was literally playing phone tag, calling my doctor, calling my nurse over at Planned Parenthood, and just like calling Aetna and calling them and just back and forth, back and forth. I was off of testosterone for 6 months. And that was like one of the hardest 6 months of my life. And that was when I was getting a lot of messages too that was like, you're not really trans because you don't have dysphoria. Like, you're just a trender. This is why people hate trans people. Because this was also when Calvin Guerra was like super, super big. And like, here's the thing, like, that really gets me. I watch Calvin's videos. Like, I think he makes valid points. I think his fans take things way too far. But I think that Calvin makes a lot of very valid points. Does he sometimes make extreme points? Yes. Do I sometimes make extreme points? Yes. Like, everybody has extremes and you don't have to agree with 100% of what everybody says, but people can still make valid points. But people were literally using language that he had used against me, and I was like, I know you heard this from Calvin Guerra's videos because I watch them too. Like, I know that you're just, oh man, it was, yeah. And like, that was the time period when I was also off of testosterone, and it got to the point where people were noticing changes and I wasn't passing anymore. And it affected me a lot emotionally, like a lot. And luckily, we did get everything worked out. We got my blood work, for the most part, worked out. We figured out that it's because I'm injecting sub-Q, my body doesn't, like, dissolve. Like, I noticed when I first went on testosterone, and I still get it, there's, like, a little lump of where the testosterone is injected for, like, 2 or 3 days, and then it goes away. And apparently that's because sub-Q is kind of erratic with how it... This is what I was told by my nurse, by the way. Sub-Q is kind of erratic with how it disperses in your body. And so mine disperses in the middle of the week, even though I do my shot on Monday. And that's when I was getting my blood work done. And so when I was getting it done was when my body was taking it all in. And that's why my levels were so ungodly high. And they were like, well, we could use you to, like, move you to intramuscular, but I can't do that. I literally have to, like, I've gotten so much better with my needle anxiety after 2 years of being on testosterone. Like, 2 years. It took that long, but I've gotten better with it. But intramuscular can just... There's no way. I can't do it. Just thinking about it, like, makes me nauseous. I can't do it. So I was like, no, I'm going to stay on sub-Q. And they're like, well, okay, we'll raise your dose a little bit. And so they raised my dose the last time that I went in, and I have been noticing so many changes so much faster. And I'm like, thank God. Like, I'm feeling mentally so much better. I'm passing in public now, which is incredible. Like, passing is so euphoric. Like, it's incredible. Like, I'm finally really getting to that point where like I feel like my transition's really going somewhere, and that's why I feel comfortable enough to finally make this video. But I've stopped doing the update videos because my transition has not been linear, because I've been off of tea for so long, for such a period of time, and my doses changed so much, and like it's been very, very non-linear for me, and it's been a very hard transition for me. And what I found with publicly posting my transition, where when I originally started, I wanted to be that person because I'd had troubles from the very beginning. I wanted to be that person that was like, look, it's not always perfect. It's not always great. Because it feels like everyone else that you watch, like their transition goes so well. And I was like, why isn't that happening for me? Why isn't mine working? Why is my body not taking the testosterone, not taking the changes? Why is this happening? And so I wanted to be that for someone else, that example for another trans guy who goes through the same thing as me, that sometimes it's not linear. And like, sometimes I get really fucking jealous of people who have that linear transition. Like, my boyfriend just started testosterone two-ish, I don't know, it's been like 3 months now, like 2 or 3 months now. And like, I'm so incredibly happy for him. Like, every time he talks to me, I'm like, look, I can see something different. Your voice is changing. Like, I'm so incredibly happy for him. But at the same time, like, there's this just hidden jealousy that I feel inside of me, because like his voice is already changing and his jawline is already changing, and like the changes are happening for him that took me 2 years to get. And it really sucks sometimes. And I wanted to be that person that other people going through the same thing could relate to. But I'll be honest, I don't know if I'd call it harassment, but the comments, they got to me. They did. I tried not to let them. I was like, these people don't know my life. These people don't know who I am. They don't know what I'm going through. But at the end of the day, they got to me. They made me more dysphoric. People telling me that I was not dysphoric and that I was not really trans and that I did not deserve to be on testosterone. It got to me. And I stopped. And I'm glad that I did. I'm glad that I stopped sharing it, because I really got to focus on myself. Like, there's more to me than just being trans. As you can see from my YouTube page, there's so much more to me. Like, I'm an avid cosplayer. I love competing in cosplay. I love cross-playing. I love doing skits and like making little videos. I'm a barber. Like, I graduate in a month and I'm doing so great. I've got a job in my career field, and like I'm really like excelling in my life right now. Like, and all that people would focus on. Even like, I got a comment recently on one of my cosplay videos where someone asked me, are you still on T? I'm like, why? This is a cosplay video. Like, just because I'm not updating doesn't mean that I'm not still transitioning. It does not take away my transness. And I don't want to say I'm completely done updating. I don't want to say that I'm never going to update again, because I might. Honestly, now that I'm seeing those changes and that things have become more linear for me, and now that I've kind of gotten this off of my chest, I might start updating again. And maybe once my life's a little more stable, because right now I'm doing so much just trying to get bills paid because school takes so much time. Like, maybe I will. Maybe you'll get a 3-year on testosterone update with 2.5 years post-op. Like, maybe you'll see those. Maybe you'll get a 2-year post-op video and like 2.5 years on testosterone video. Like, I'm not gonna make any promises, because it depends on where my mental state is at, and it depends on where I'm at. But yeah, that's why I haven't been updating. That's why I haven't been making the videos. I'm still on testosterone. I pre-make my syringes, because syringes, like, they make me anxious and queasy. So I make them all at once. That way I don't have to like work myself up before my shot. But I even have 2 left before I have to go get my next vial. Like, here they are. Like, they're like, I'm still on it. Like, Jesus, I don't even know. At this point, I'm rambling, but I just want to end this on a positive note. And for any non-binary people or trans people or queer people or anything, anyone out there watching, never let anybody tell you that you are not who you are. You know who you are. You know. And what anybody else tells you does not matter, because at the end of the day, you need to take care of yourself. And yes, other people matter, but you should be your most important priority. And that's something that took me years to learn and that I still struggle with today. But I made myself my own priority, and I'm glad that I did. And yeah, sometimes the comments sucked, but I knew that if I kept updating, people would keep commenting on how things hadn't changed. And so I stopped, and I'm glad that I did. And if you need to take a break from anything that you're doing, if you need to focus for yourself, don't let anybody make you feel like you owe them anything. You know who you are, you know what you need, and you know what is best for you. And listen to that. Listen to yourself. That's pretty much where I want to leave it. I hope that everybody has a great day. Expect some more cosplay content coming from me whenever I have the time. Follow me on my social medias. I actually right now have a GoFundMe set up to try and get my barber exam covered because it's very expensive. So check down that link as well. And yeah, that's about it. Have a great day.